Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, working on the free T again. So last couple videos I've been working on the windshield and the stanchions for the car. And the last video you saw, I got the stanchions pretty well welded in. They're fairly smooth. They do need a little bit more detail work before they would actually get coated for being done. But the next thing I need to work on is get them so that they actually bolt onto the car. Our main goal right now is trying to get the body ready so that we can start doing our body work on the car. So I don't want to have to be drilling or modifying anything on the body once we've already got everything in primer or paint. So I need to work on getting some threaded inserts in the body. So what I'm going to do is use a riv nut tool to put some threaded inserts in the sheet metal for the stanchions on the side here, and then I'm also going to put at least one, if not two, we'll see how it works out, in the back side here for them as well. And that should get me going so that everything mounts up and bolts on like factory. So hopefully everything goes smoothly and we have a windshield and stanchions that all bolt on like factory. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you guys just a little quick tech tip or just a little hack that I do. So sometimes I'll use layout machinist dye to spray on something to scribe a line. Sometimes I'll use like guide code or something like that. That sometimes is great, but in some instances you don't want to get overspray all over everything. So sometimes what I'll do is just take a Sharpie. So we need to put a scribe line for our second bolt hole down here on the side of the stanchion, and I want to make sure that it lines up and looks really good. And by having a line that's scribed in, I can kind of stand back and look at it a little better. So what I can do is just take your Sharpie and just basically fill it all in with your Sharpie like that. Let it all dry, and then you could scribe a line in it like you would your layout dye or your guide coat, and it didn't get overspray all over everything. We could scribe it. The nice thing is it also wipes right off with some pre or acetone or whatever cleaner that you use. You can wipe it right off with a rag in one of those, and it's good to go. So that's a quick little tip. I'm gonna lay out these this next line and do the one in the back on this stanchion, and then we will be pretty much have a bolt-on windshield setup. So I'm gonna get these last two done and get going. All right, so got all the holes drilled in the passenger side stanchion and both sides mounted up, and I'm really happy with how it came out. Everything looks great. Beveled all these holes so the screws all pretty much sit nice and flat so they don't stick out quite as much visually when you're looking at it. Originally when I was planning my mounting points for the stanchions, I was thinking about welding studs for some of these holes so that there was no mounting bolts on the outside. I realized that that would really be a pain in the butt when I was going to put stanchions on. When the car is all done, if I want to take the windshield on or off for some reason, it would be a real pain to fish underneath the dash to get those bolts or nuts started. So I opted for this, which I actually think is a little more factory looking, if you will. So sometimes this exposed hardware it's just how it was, so it just looks right. So I'm really happy with it. One change I kind of made on the fly was originally when I was kind of drawing out my dots for where my mounting hardware was going to be, I was going to put a third bolt right there, and once I drilled the top one and saw how big the head of the screw was, I realized that would be way too busy and really was just overkill, because we're putting this bolt in the back side that's pointing into the dash, and we got the two from the side. Really, from normal driving, nothing's gonna rip that off with having those riv nuts sunken into the body. So only other thing I really have to do, and two things, is I have to fill just these little holes that I had, sheet metal holes in the back side of the stanchions that were I was using to fixture them when I was building them. So I just got to put a little dab of filler rod in there to fill them up, blend them smooth, and everything should be great. Then I just have to drill. The other thing is I have to drill and tap a new hole here in the windshield frame for this lower mounting bolt for the stanchion. And then I'm going to fill this one up top that was here from where it mounted originally. So once I get all that done, it'll kind of look like it was supposed to be that way, which is what I really like doing with this stuff that I'm modifying and customizing. It needs to look cool, but also kind of needs to look like it could have been that way from the factory. And I think I've really achieved that with this part of the project. So that's all I have for this one. I really appreciate you guys following along. As always, we do videos on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And make sure you subscribe. Drop us a comment down below what you think of the new windshield setup. And thanks, guys. Catch you later.